Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to the class once again. I hope you're all doing good and you are in the best of your health. In this class, we'll be seeing question on thermodynamics need pattern exercise, and as I have told you always, need pattern question are of moderate level of difficulty and each question are of single choice question. And there are actually 45 questions in physics, so each chapter has at least 2 to 3 questions within it. Let's go for the first question of thermodynamics. A gas mixture consists of 2 moles of oxygen and 4 moles of argon at temperature T. Neglecting all vibrational modes, the total internal energy of the system is A 4 RT, B 15 RT, C 9 RT, D 11 RT. Now see, the gas mixture has 2 moles of oxygen and 4 moles of argon. Internal energy when we talk about, we are not considering the vibrational mode, that means only the linear, only the translational kinetic energy we need to take into consideration. Now I have told you for internal energy, in our regular class we have discussed this, it is related with degree of freedom, and internal energy is given as N into F by 2 RT. This is the value of the internal energy, where F is the degree of freedom. That is what we have learnt in our regular classes, degree of freedom. Now the total internal energy of the mixture, that will be due to internal energy of oxygen plus due to internal energy of argon. Now oxygen is a diatomic gas, argon is a monatomic gas. For diatomic gas, the degree of freedom is 5 as we have discussed in our classes, and for monatomic gas the degree of freedom is 3. Let's put up all the values. The number of moles of oxygen, that is given as 2 moles of oxygen. So let me put here 2 moles of oxygen multiplied with degree of freedom, that is 5 by 2 RT, plus due to argon the number of moles is 1. You can see here clearly, sorry, it's 4 moles of argon, so you need to put the value of number of moles for argon as 4, multiply degree of freedom as 3 by 2 RT. Let's be very quick in solving this. This will be 5 RT, this will be 6 RT, so you will be getting U total as 5 RT plus 6 RT, that will be in total equal to 11 RT. So the internal energy, the total internal energy of this system, the total internal energy without considering the vibrational modes, 4 RT no, 15 RT no, it is 9 RT no, 11 RT is the right answer that we are getting. Simple question, only thing you have to remember how the energies are associated and related with respect to degree of freedom. If you remember such basic small things, you can answer very quickly and easily on the day of your examination. Let's be very quick to do question number 2. A given sample of an ideal gas occupies a volume V at pressure P. Volume V at pressure P and absolute temperature T. This is what is given. It occupies a volume V at pressure P and absolute temperature T. The mass of each molecule of the gas is given as m. Which of the following gives the density of the gas? We require the density of the gas. Density A P by kT, B P m by kT, C P by kTV, and D m kT. The variables have their standard representations. So first of all, you see density is what? Density is mass per unit volume. This is what we know about density. Now before going further, we know that PV equals to nRT. This is what we know about PV. Now here you see how we can actually replace. Now pressure into volume equals to nRT. Here we have rho equals to m by V. Now the mass of the gas, can be written as, if I write the mass of the gas, that can be written as n into molecular weight, that will be m naught. N into number of moles, n is the number of mole into molecular weight. So we can write the mass of gas in this way. So rho can be written as mass m by V. So n into m naught by V. N by V, number of moles divided by volume. N by V, you see here from this equation. Now from PV equals to nRT, we can write n by V. You see n by V is equal to P by RT. We can represent in this way, n by V. Now substituting here, if we place n by V as P by RT, So Pm naught divided by RT, we are getting this is a value of density, pressure into molecular weight upon RT. Still no value matches. Here you see it's a K is given as the Boltzmann constant. What we are going to do, we can replace R as, you see here, keep pressure as it is. Molecular weight can be written as mass of one molecule into Avogadro number Na, where Na is the Avogadro number. R can be written as N into, no sorry, it's Na into K. It can be written as Avogadro number into Boltzmann constant, that is K, and then let me put here T. So clearly Na will be cancelled out, we will be having Pm by Kt. Pm by Kt, this will be the value of the density of the gas. This K, remember, it's a Boltzmann constant. P is the pressure, mass of one molecule divided by K into T, Pm by Kt. Option number A, P by Kt, no. B, Pm by Kt, that's right answer. Incorrect, incorrect, all the rest of the options. So this is how you have to proceed in such kind of question, and hope you are getting how different equations can be related, and we reach on to the final conclusion by combining all the given equations. Question number 3. The ratio of specific heat Cp by Cv equals to gamma, that is what we know. In terms of degree of freedom, n is given by A 1 plus 1 by n, B 1 plus n by 3, C 1 plus 2 by n, and D 1 plus n by 2. Now to solve such kind of question, we should use the value of Cv and Cp in terms of degree of freedom. Cv, we know that Cv is given as n by 2r, where n is the degree of freedom. That is what we have learnt. Now after this, the value of Cp is equal to Cv plus r. So n by 2r plus r, if we do, this will come out to be r 1 plus n by 2 multiply with r. So finally you will be getting 2 plus n by 2. 2 plus n by 2 will be the value of this. So we got the value of Cp in terms of r and n, we got the value of Cv in terms of r and n. Let's try to find out the value of gamma. Gamma is equal to Cp by Cv, that is n 2 plus n by 2r divided by n by 2r. Clearly you can see that r and r could be cancelled out. This 2 and 2 will be cancelled out, will be left with 2 plus n by n. So if we simplify this, this will come out to be 1 plus 2 by n. This is the value of gamma, that is the specific heat, that is the ratio of Cp and Cv, 1 plus 2 by n. Let's quickly check the option that's matching. A 1 plus 1 by n, no. B 1 plus n by 3, no. C 1 plus 2 by n, and this is the answer that we got, 1 plus 2 by n as the value of gamma, that you can clearly see. Let's go ahead. Option number C is the right answer. D will be the incorrect response. After this, let's be very quick to do next questions. So I believe that you have understood question number 3. Let's go to question number 4. A Carnot engine having an efficiency of eta equals to 1 by 10 as heat engine is used as a refrigerator. If the work done on the system is 10 joule, the amount of energy absorbed from the reservoir at lower temperature is A 100 joule, B 99 joule, C 90 joule, and D 1 joule. So we need to identify what is the amount of heat energy that is absorbed from the reservoir, which is at the lower temperature. Now see, in this case, don't use the formula for refrigerator, use the formula for heat engine, because it says that it is working as in the case of Carnot engine. The efficiency is given as eta, and that is equal to 1 by 10. Eta equals to 1 by 10, this is the efficiency, and efficiency can be written as 1 minus T2 by T1. This is what we can write, where T2 is the temperature, the lower temperature, and T1 is the higher temperature. So T2 we can say the lower temperature or the reservoir temperature, we can say this, and T1 is the temperature of the surrounding in which the heat is released. This is what we can comment on T1 and T2 that we have taken. Now eta, that is given as 1 by 10. So if we write 1 by 10 is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. From here easily you can evaluate the value of T2 by T1. That will come out to be T2 by T1 is equal to 1 minus 1 by 10, that is equal to 9 by 10. So the ratio of temperature of the reservoir to temperature of the surrounding, that is T2 by T1, that is 9 by 10. Now we all know from heat engine concept, Q2 by Q1 will be equal to 9 by 10, and before that let me write this as equal to T2 by T1. This is what we can write. Now Q2 is the amount of heat that has been drawn from the reservoir. Q1 is the total amount of heat that has been released to the surrounding. Now if 10 joule of work is done, so how we can write? We can write that Q1 is equal to Q2 plus W, that is equal to Q2 plus 10 joule, because 10 joule of work is done in this case on the refrigerator. Now T2 by T1 already we have evaluated, that is 9 by 10. So you substitute Q2 by Q1 is equal to 9 by 10. From here you substitute the value of Q1 as Q2 plus 10. So you will get Q2 upon Q2 plus 10 is equal to 9 by 10. This multiply, so you get 10 Q2 is equal to 9 Q2 plus 90, implies that Q2 comes out to be 90 joule. That is 90 joule of heat is taken from the reservoir, 10 joule of work is done, the total heat released to the surrounding, that is 100 joule, that is what is as per in this case. So the 90 joule will be the heat taken from the reservoir. So let's check. A 100 joule, no. B 99 joule, no. C 90 joule, yes. This is the amount of heat energy that is taken by the reservoir from the reservoir. D 1 joule, that is the incorrect response. Hope that you've understood how to solve such kind of question. And let's proceed with the next question of the class. Next question of the class, let's go to question number 5. An ideal gas is compressed to half its initial volume. So it says it's ideal gas, and initially if the volume is V, it's compressed to V by 2. By means of several processes, which of the processes result in maximum work done on the gas? A. Adiabatic, B. Isobaric, C. Isochoric, D. Isothermal. Now I have told you the equation to how to evaluate the value of work done in each of the processes. But here need not to worry about the equation. You see here, it says that it's compressed from initial volume V to volume V by 2. And let's draw a curve for each of the process on a PV diagram. So if I draw pressure on Y axis, volume on X axis, how we can draw? It says that the initial volume is V and it's compressed to volume V2, V by 2. If the initial volume is V, it's compressed to final volume, that is V by 2. Let's say this is the V by 2. 3 process, it has gone, all the 4 processes, let's draw the curve: adiabatic, isobaric, isochoric, isothermal. First I am drawing isobaric, because isobaric the pressure will remain constant. So for isobaric process, if I draw the curve, it will be somewhat like this. This is for curve B, so I am marking B for the isobaric process. And let's say the pressure at this end is P1. Let's say it's P1. Now from between isothermal and adiabatic, how to draw? Let me tell you, the PV curve of adiabatic process has the maximum slope, so it will go through the maximum slope. So this will be the curve for the adiabatic, that is the curve for A. And then you have isothermal, it will have less curve compared to adiabatic. So hence I'm going to show its curve like this. Let me draw with the different color so that you may differentiate it. The curve will be somewhat like this. This is the second curve that I have drawn, that is for isothermal, so option number D is for this. These are the 3 curves that I have actually drawn for pressure volume relation. Just try to understand. Let's say this is V by 2 we have got here. Now from here onwards, this is DAB. Now for isochoric process, this we are left, isochoric process, volume is constant, so work done is 0 in that case. For isochoric, for A, B, C, for the option number C, it's isochoric, work done will be 0. So comparing the three, work done in this case, B part, that is isobaric, the work done will be minimum. More than 0, I am not talking about the isochoric case, I am talking comparing adiabatic, isothermal and isobaric. This will be less, this will be the maximum. In the case of adiabatic process, it will be maximum because work done is evaluated as per the area under the curve, and area under the curve is maximum for the adiabatic curve. Hence, the right answer will be adiabatic. So, maximum work is done in the case of adiabatic because that is covering the maximum area. Rest all options will be incorrect. Let's go ahead with the next question. This was a good question to understand how to relate the pressure volume graph for different kind of processes. Question number 6, the coefficient of performance of a refrigerator is 5. If the temperature inside freezer is minus 20 degrees Celsius, the temperature of the surrounding to which it rejects heat is A 31 degrees Celsius, B 41, C 11 degrees Celsius and D 21 degrees Celsius. Now in this case, we need to use a different value, a different way to proceed with the refrigerator. We should use the coefficient of performance that's given, coefficient of performance that is given to be equal to 5. That's a value greater than 1, and I should tell you that it's always greater than 1 in case of a refrigerator. Now let me write the formula for coefficient of performance at the other end. You take note till here. Let me write at the other end. Okay, now see, let me write on the formula for coefficient of performance. Now in case of refrigerator, the coefficient of performance is actually eta is equal to T2 upon T1 minus T2. T2 is the temperature of the inner part of the refrigerator, that is the reservoir of the refrigerator from where actually heat is extracted. Here it's given that T2 is equal to minus 20 degrees Celsius. That will be equal to minus 20 degrees Celsius plus 273, you will get in kelvins. If you convert the temperature in kelvins, you will get this as equal to 253 Kelvin. Next you see T1 minus T2. T1 is the temperature that we need to obtain because we need to obtain the temperature of the surrounding. So T1 is required, the temperature of the surrounding. So finally eta is given as 5, T2 is 253, T1 minus 253. All we require to evaluate this, 5 T1 minus 253 into 5, so you will be getting 5 T1 is equal to, this will be minus 253 into 5, here it will be plus 2, it will go then it will become plus 253, so you will be getting 52 into 53 plus 253. Now you can easily evaluate this, 6 into 253 divided by 5, you can easily evaluate this. You will be getting the value of T1 that is equal to 303.6 Kelvin. This is what you can actually evaluate. So from here, in terms of degrees Celsius, T1 will come out to be 30.6 degrees Celsius. This is very near to 31 degrees Celsius. This is a calculation that you can do. It will be nearly 31 degrees Celsius. Let's go ahead and let's solve for this. The option matching with the right answer. Option number A, 31 degrees Celsius. Yes. B, 41 incorrect. C, 11 incorrect. D, 21 degrees Celsius. That's incorrect. So we got this. Right answer that the temperature of the surrounding will be 31 degree Celsius. Hope that you have got how to solve such kind of question. Not too tough. Let's go to the next question. Question number 7. Two vessels separately contain two ideal gases A and B at the same temperature. The pressure of A being twice that of B. Under such conditions, the density of A is found to be 1.5 times the density of B. The ratio of molecular weight of A and B is. Here we require the molecular weight of A and B. The given information are, it's given that pressure of A being twice of B. PA is equal to twice of PB. This is given, and it's given that density of A is found to be, density of A is 1.5 times of density of B. Rho represents the density, that is what we can see. Now we require the ratio of molecular weights, the ratio of molecular weight of A and B. So the required thing in this question is, what is the ratio of MA by MB? Only thing that we are aware about, we know that pressure into volume is equal to nRT. This is what we are aware about. Now you see how we can actually proceed and how we can actually get to the relation rho and P, how we can relate with its molecular weight. Now first of all, pressure into volume, let me write number of moles as what? Number of moles, you can keep it as it is, number of moles, and pressure can be written as nRT by V. nRT by V, this is the value of pressure. What is density? Density is mass per unit volume. Mass per unit volume is the density. Now what will be the value of mass? Just think, mass can be written as number of moles into molecular weight, that will be the value of mass. So we can write this as N into m naught upon V, this will be the value of density, not a problem. So clearly m naught by rho, think that m naught can be written as, if I write here m naught, this can be written as rho into V by N. Clear? Rho into V by N we can write clearly. Now you see V by N can be written as RT by P. V by N can be written as RT by P. So let me write down this as rho RT by P. This will be equal to m naught. So we obtain this rho RT by P, that will be equal to m naught. From here onwards you proceed with the required thing, MA by NB will be equal to rho A by rho B into PB by PA. Only we require to substitute the value. So what I will do, I will write the values at the other end. You take note till here, I will write at the other end. Now you see, let me just rub this part, it's not required. We are nearly done. Just put up the values. Now you see here, MA by MB, that is what we have written. Just substitute the value of rho A by rho B. Rho A by rho B can be written as 1.5, that is given, that is equal to 1.5. Multiply with PB by PA. PB by PA will get, that will be equal to 1 by 2. So let me write here, that is equal to 1 by 2. So 1.5 by 2 is the relationship. This 1.5 by 2 can be written as 3 by 4. So MA by NB, that is molecular weight of A to molecular weight of B, will be equal to 3 by 4. Let's check the option. A 2 by 3, no. B 3 by 4, yes. C 2, D 1 by 2, that's all, both are incorrect. So this is how you have to proceed with such kind of questions. I hope that you have got how to actually convert from one equation, from one relation to reach to other relation. Question number 8. During an isothermal expansion, a confined ideal gas does minus 150 joule of work against its surrounding. This implies that minus 150 joule of work is done. We all know from first law of thermodynamics, delta Q is equal to delta U plus W. This is, now let us see what more we can identify. This implies that 300 joule of heat has been added to the gas. Can we comment on this? Because we are provided with work done. We are not provided, we cannot say that 300 joule of heat will be added. No heat is transferred because the process is isothermal. Again, nothing is said about it whether the process is isothermal or not. We cannot say that. Now it says that 150 joule of heat has been added to the gas. Now 150 joule of gas, now it says that isothermal, one more thing, it says that isothermal expansion. It's isothermal, that means temperature remains constant, that means delta U equals to 0. If delta U equals 0, so delta Q will be equal to W. because delta Q will be equal to delta U plus W. That is what we know. So delta Q will be equal to minus 150 joule. That is 150 joule will be actually released by the system. 150 joule of work is done on the system, 150 joule will be released by the system. That is what we can see. Option number C, 150 joule of heat has been added to the system. No. 150 of joule has been removed from this gas. Yes. 150 of joule is removed from the gas. That is what we can identify. If it is plus, then heat will be added. If it is minus, heat will be removed. So let me wipe this. You take note till here. Let me also start after wiping this. Okay, we'll switching to next question, and I hope that you have got how to solve such questions. Let's go to question number 9. The internal energy change in a system that has absorbed 2 kilocalorie of heat and done 500 joule of work is. That the internal energy change we need to evaluate. You see here, delta Q is equal to delta U plus W. The internal change in system, we require change in internal energy, that will be delta Q minus W. It says that has absorbed 2 kilocalorie of heat. So delta Q will be equal to 2 kilocalorie. And now 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joules. So 2 kilocalorie will be equal to 2 into 10 to power 3 multiply with 4.2. You will get that as joules. Now work done and done 500 joule of work. That means work done is positive. It does work, so 500 joule of work it has done. Now we can evaluate delta U as delta Q minus W. Clearly you can write delta Q as equal to 2 into 4.2. You will get that as 8.4 multiplied with 10 to power 3. 8.4 multiplied by 10 to power 3, you get 8400. So delta U will be equal to 8400 and minus W minus 500 joules. So this will be equal to 7900 joules amount of change in internal energy. 7900 joule change in internal energy. That is option number D. Rest all options are incorrect. Hope that you have obtained how to do such kind of question. Let's switch to the last question of the session, and I hope that you have learnt a lot with all such practices. Question number 10. An ideal gas undergoing adiabatic change has the following pressure temperature relationship. First, we want pressure temperature relationship. You can see all the 4 options. We all know that PV power gamma equals to constant for an adiabatic process. PV power gamma is equal to constant for the adiabatic process. We want pressure and temperature relation. How we can actually convert this? PV equals to nRT. V can be written as nRT by P. So V power gamma, you just replace it with nRT by P. You will be getting P nRT by P power gamma is equal to constant. Now clearly you will be getting this P to the power 1 minus gamma, P to the power 1 minus gamma, and here temperature to the power gamma, and rest term if I write this N into R power gamma, that won't make any change, a constant. So can we write this as, implies that P to the power 1 minus gamma multiplied with T to the power gamma is equal to a new constant K dash. We got P to the power 1 minus gamma multiplied with T to the power gamma. Let's check with the given relation. This question can come in your exam. P to the power 1 minus gamma, T to the power gamma we have. The correct answer is P to the power gamma minus 1. No, we have P to the power 1 minus gamma. So this will be incorrect. P to the power gamma incorrect. P to the power gamma, T power 1 minus gamma incorrect. And here you have P to the power 1 minus gamma, T to the power gamma equals to constant. That's the correct answer for this. These were all the 10 questions that we are intending to discuss with you all in this class of this chapter thermodynamics. I'll be getting back to you all with more questions, with more discussion, with more concept in the next class. Till the time, you keep on practicing, keep working on more questions that will enhance your efficiency, your speed will increase, your accuracy will increase with your more practice. So I wish you all the very best and thank you for joining with me.